Alrighty, thank you everybody for tuning in to the 21st iteration of the Konoha Companion. And on this episode, we're going to be covering Season 1, Episode 20 of Naruto, entitled A New Chapter Begins, the CHUNIN Exams. And this is the first episode back after taking the short little break, after finishing up the first arc. And I have to say, I am freshly invigorated. I am super excited to get back in the saddle and get through the next arc. This arc is all about the CHUNIN exams, right? And we'll just dive right off into it. The episode starts with us back at the Hidden Leaf, and Naruto is rolling out of bed, and there are like notes and scrolls and books and everything kind of cast about. And he starts making himself some breakfast, and his little dining area is like all gross, right? Like he's not maintaining his shit appropriately, right? Doesn't have a mom and dad at the house being like, clean your shit. Naruto finishes his breakfast and heads out the door, and I noticed at this point that Naruto has a Pakun on his keychain, and Pakun is the pug of the ninja hounds that Kakashi summons. So just on second watch, you notice little things, and that was really cute. Naruto hits a quick stretch to limber up and dashes off while excitedly yelling, "I'm ready," on some SpongeBob shit. And at this point, the title slide comes in and Naruto reads, "A New Chapter, the CHUNIN Exams." And it transitions us to Sakura and Sasuke, who are standing on a bridge. Naruto then comes running up and tells Sakura good morning and asks her, what she's up to. Naruto and Sasuke then lock eyes, and they have like a quick, awkward stare down, but they both ultimately wind up looking up and away. And Sakura thinks internally, good grief, not again. They've been like this ever since we got back from the land of waves. It's like I'm stuck with a couple of children. And I mean, you are. Like they're kids. Like we're kids. They're kids. Come on, relax. But Sakura then hopes internally that like Kakashi gets there ASAP, right? Like Kakashi's gonna get there and it's gonna break up this ignorance, and she's gonna get to go on about living a normal life. But seemingly forever goes by. The squadlings are like sleeping while standing, waiting for Kakashi on the bridge. And then Kakashi suddenly, hops on the bridge and offers, "Hey guys, good morning. Sorry I'm late. Afraid I got lost on the path of life." And Naruto and Sakura both exclaim in disapproval in unison, like getting lost on the path of life isn't necessarily an appropriate excuse for why you're late to them two right now. But Sasuke's always too cool for school, doesn't really give a big shit, isn't really showing much emotion at all. Naruto then exclaims, "I'm ready for the next ninja mission, sensei, and hey, no more of this dumb beginner stuff, okay? I want a chance to prove myself. I'm talking a real mission where I can show what I'm made of." He lets out a big scream. He goes, "I gotta break out and burn it up, see?" And at this point, his eyes are like literally fire, and he's surrounded by fire, and he's just like clearly burning red hot with enthusiasm. It's really cute. I love how they do this kind of like silly stuff. There's a little bit more of the silly stuff going on in the first season than what I am accustomed to with what's freshest on my memory. But it's nostalgic, right? It's been a long time since I saw this stuff, and it's cute. I love it. The kid's got literal fire in his eyes. Let's go. Kakashi tells him that he gets it and that's great, but asks him to ultimately take it easy. Naruto then turns and glares at Sasuke again and thinks, "Sasuke, he's always rescuing everyone on our missions, trying to grab all the glory and make me look like a chump. Bet he'll never get the edge on me." And Sakura, seeing this clearly, thanks to him, she sees Naruto thinking all this, right? Like it's clear to her what Naruto is doing. And she thinks to herself that he's such a twerp. And Sasuke just remains chill as a cucumber, right? Just can't even offer a bit of emotion to the circumstance still. And this burns Naruto up even worse, who then thinks, today's the day. And he has like this daydream fantasy about saving Sasuke and saying to him, what's the matter? Can't you take care of yourself, Sasuke? Naruto then snaps back to reality, and his eyes are still literal fire, and he exclaims, believe it. And Kakashi quips in, let us know when you're done fantasizing, Naruto, so we can start the mission, all right? Naruto responds, right. And Sakura chimes in, could you not be so annoying, Naruto, just for once? This is a fun little scene, right? Naruto is still competing with Sasuke. He's also still just a little ball of fire. Sasuke is keeping to himself and not showing any emotion real hard. Sakura finds Naruto super annoying still. Kakashi is still chill as a cucumber. And like, these are the good times, right? Everybody's just kind of being themselves authentically as, children, youngins. And it's all a lot of fun. The scene then transitions to the squadlings pulling weeds. And Naruto pulls his sleeves up and says, well, I'm going to beat Sasuke anyway. Right, obviously, he didn't get the non-beginner mission that he was gunning for. Right, but even in this capacity, he's going to find a way to compete and beat Sasuke. And he starts pulling weeds up just as fast as he can. And he winds up like standing triumphantly next to a humongous pile of weeds. And he's like smiling and laughing real big. When the owner of the farm approaches him with her hands on her hips and says, hey, you. Naruto responds, oh, hey, lady, I got rid of all your weeds. Pretty cool, huh? The lady then lowers her head and shudders with frustration, and Naruto notices this, who then asks, what's wrong? The lady responds, you pulled all the weeds, and you also pulled up all my plants. Those were special herbs I've been growing, and you destroyed them. The scene transitions away as you hear the lady like whooping Naruto's ass, right? There's banging and clanging, the scene's shaking. And next we see the squadlings walking around picking up trash out of the river, and Naruto's got a big old black eye to remember his mistake by. Kakashi is kicked back reading his romance novel on the shore like a king. Naruto at this point slips and falls and gets swept away by the current of the river and falls down a waterfall, only to be saved yet again by Sasuke. Right? Today was the day when Naruto was gonna save Sasuke from real danger, right? And instead, Sasuke had to save Naruto from some dumbassery, right? So it's just more of the same. That it's the repetitious cycle of rhythms that these guys have been going through, right? Naruto is an idiot. Sasuke saves the day. Naruto wants to get better because he resents that, and the cycle keeps rinsing and repeating. Sasuke, while he's like dangling and holding on Naruto, who's also dangling, reminds Naruto of how big of a loser he is, which is appropriate, right? Like, you got your ass beat by a river. Come on. Next is Naruto walking a big old stubborn dog that's dragging him wherever he wants to go and not listening to demands at all. It's then revealed that Sasuke and Sakura are both walking little mild-mannered lapdogs, and Kakashi is yet again lounging in the background on a tree limb reading his romance novel like a king. Sasuke and Sakura remark amongst themselves how big a loser Naruto is again, and the dog then drags Naruto through a literal minefield, causing Naruto to get blasted several times. The rest of the team groans at Naruto's silliness, and the big dog has, at this point, taken a liking to Naruto, and now that he's, like, all blasted up. The scene then transitions to Sakura and Sasuke carrying Naruto alongside Kakashi, right? Like, Naruto has gotten his ass beaten bad. Sakura remarks to Naruto, "Look at you, you're hopeless, Naruto." Sasuke then chuckles and smiles and says, "You really are just one big problem." Naruto just erupts out of their grasp and turns to attack Sasuke in response. But Sakura promptly stops him and scolds him, yelling, "If you keep this up, I'll finish you off myself." Kakashi sees this, then groans and remarks, "I guess we're not making a lot of progress on the teamwork thing, huh?" Naruto chimes in, "That's right. Our teamwork's all messed up. And it's all because of you, Sasuke," as he shakes his fist in anger at Sasuke. He then demands, "You think you're better than everyone else?" And Sasuke quickly responds, "Not everyone, just you. Face it. I'm better and stronger than you are. It's a fact, unless you have what it takes to prove me wrong." And this prompts another big stare down between Naruto and Sasuke. And man, Sasuke needs to know his role, bro. He got done in by Haku and that Crystal Ice Mirror Dome Jutsu. Whereas Naruto literally punched through it with his fist. So there's levels to this shit. The show is called Naruto, not Sasuke. And Sasuke gonna have to learn that lesson. Because right now he's over here thinking he's the dude. And it's literally Naruto, not Sasuke. So you're gonna have to learn some tough lessons along the way, bud. But even Naruto believes that Sasuke is the more talented of the two, and maybe Sasuke is more naturally talented, and just Naruto has the humongous chakra reserves and just that raw Nine Tails chakra energy that's the ultimate trump card, ace up the sleeve, that makes him more effective in an ultimate pinch than Sasuke, right? But on the passing moment, Sasuke is going to be more talented, right? And I think that everybody recognizes that. But let's be very frank. If there's a scale here, I know who's where on the totem pole. And these guys evidently don't yet. While they're standing off, Sakura thinks they're getting along worse than before, if that's possible. And right in that moment, Sasuke has a moment of introspection where there's a brief flash of Haku's mask comes flying across the screen, and he thinks, "I don't have time to waste on Naruto and these lame missions. There's still ninja out there who can outfight me. I've got to hone my skills so I can beat them." And this is the first time where we've really heard Sasuke expressing real discontent for the progress he's making, right? This has been a thing that Naruto has primarily done throughout, right? He's always bitching, I'm not getting the respect I need. I'm not getting the clout I want. You know what I'm saying? Whereas Sasuke is I need a harder stone to sharpen my sword against. These little gathering weeds ain't gonna make it so that I can beat the characters like Haku of the world. I need to do what's appropriate so that I can get to where I'm beating those guys as fast as possible. Right, so ultimately, everybody's got a little friction on the back end. So yeah, like I said, Naruto has been really vocal about not getting the respect he wants and trying to chase down, he's not about chasing down lost cats. Now Sasuke isn't about pulling weeds. Sasuke isn't feeling it because he feels like he could be becoming stronger faster by doing other things. These little missions and fucking around with Naruto really is a waste of his time. Just put a pin in that thought. It transitions to Kakashi, who's watching this all unfold while reading his romance novel, and there's a hawk flying overhead. Kakashi looks into the sky, notices the hawk, and says, "All right, let's call it a day. You can beat each other to a pulp some other time. Anyway, I have to file my report on this mission." And Sasuke immediately responds, "Whatever, I'm out of here. Too cool for school. Fuck off." He then turns and starts to walk away, and Sakura gasps and yells, "Wait, Sasuke, I'll go with you." And Naruto is left baffled, right? As he has to watch Sakura go run off to Sasuke instead of him being able to make his move, right? It was occurring to him to make his move, and Sakura made her move before he could make his move, so now he's kind of left holding the bag. Sakura catches up to Sasuke and says, blushingly, "So why don't we, let's do something more personal. To improve our teamwork and all." Sasuke, obviously annoyed, responds, "I swear, you're just as bad as Naruto." And this clearly crushes Sakura. It even shows her in her mind having to like hold up a huge boulder, right? Like the weight of being compared to Naruto is a tremendous psychological weight for her to have to bear. Then Sasuke continues, "Instead of flirting, why don't you practice your jutsu and make the team stronger? Let's face it, you're actually worse than Naruto." And the words "worse than Naruto" echo in Sakura's mind several times, and like every time it echoes, the boulder that she's carrying gets bigger and bigger, and like she struggles more and more with like holding up the boulder. Sasuke walks off without a look back, and Sakura has a moment of introspection where she's like all alone in a dark space under a single beam of light, and she thinks, he's right. What have I really done so far in any of our missions? Nothing. Sad. And Sasuke is a dick for this one. His patronizing ass tone is getting old quick. Like, for that, you know what I'm saying? We need to be building each other up, not tearing each other down. You know, I understand that, tearing something down can build it up stronger, but I think building stuff up stronger is a better method of building stuff up stronger than tearing things down, personally, right? But, different shows for different folks, but Sakura has done great. She held it down and legit protected the bridge builder throughout the entire Land of Waves arc, while Sasuke and Naruto were off getting their asses kicked, or were too busy trying to catch up to They're busy trying to catch up to Sakura and her chakra control to be of any use, right? They were either getting their ass kicked and couldn't be bodyguards, or were trying to catch up to Sakura so they could be bodyguards. Right, so I don't know. What did you do? Set the precedent for chakra control? What did you do? Serve as the primary protector of the stated purpose of the mission, right? Like Naruto and Sasuke are off dicking around doing demon windmill shuriken shadow clone replacement moves and all this other fancy shit, and like she's holding it down, literally on Tasuna's hip. Holding it down, making sure that he doesn't get got by a clone or by anything, right? She's literally like that thing that's enabling these guys to go do their cool shit. So, a lot of people think that Sakura doesn't do much, and I am not a Sakura simp at all, but I do recognize, like, she does good. She does good. She's a solid teammate. Fuck off. Fuck anybody who says she isn't a solid teammate. I will say, though, that you can't be saying you don't like Naruto because he's an orphan to Sasuke, who's an orphan, right? Like, you're in a ninja village. There's already been several ninja wars. Like, motherfucking a third of the population is orphaned at this point. You can't be talking shit about orphans, especially in a verse like this one, right? It's just not going to jive well. So she's got some bad marks, man, but in terms of what she does on the mission and how she does good. Whether or not she's a bitch, that's secondary. Naruto at this point chimes in with all the positive energy. "Don't worry, Sakura, just forget about Sasuke. You and me can develop our teamwork all day." Kakashi suddenly disappears in a plume of smoke, and Naruto remarks internally, "Is he giving us some alone time?" And no, man, Kakashi just ain't here for this. He sees y'all's awkwardness. He's got grown man shit to do, like read that romance novel. Suddenly, a box camouflaged to blend into the rocks walks up and like hides behind Naruto, which Naruto notices and turns to look at it. But suddenly they stop, right? Like the rocks stop scuttling, and it's, that they're like trying to be camouflaged. Naruto thinks to himself, fake rocks? What's up with that? And Naruto tries to play it off and tries to like walk away, but the box keeps following him everywhere. Naruto's attempts to put space between himself and the box get more and more frantic, but he can't get away. And so he turns to confront the box, but the box again stops and remains perfectly still. And Naruto points down at the box and declares, "That's the worst disguise ever. There's no such thing as square rocks. It's completely obvious." And through the box you can hear Konohamaru, Lil Shrimp, be remarking, "You saw through my camouflage again. You're slick, boss. Just what I'd expect from my greatest rival." And a blast of smoke erupts, and the kiddos, Shrimps, chief among them, are on the ground gasping for air. And Shrimpy says, "I think we used a little too much gunpowder, you guys." And the smoke clears, and the kids all notice Naruto at once. And the girl to Konohamaru's right with the goggles and red hair announces triumphantly, "I'm Moegi, the sassiest kunoichi in preschool. Check me out." And the boy with the runny nose and glasses introduces himself, "I love algebra. Call me Udon." And Shrimps pops in, "And I'm the #1 ninja in the village, Konohamaru." And when we are all together, and they in unison yell, "We're the Konohamaru Ninja Squad." And this is the first time that we've actually been introduced to Konohamaru's little gang, and oh my god, they're so cute. Yeah, oh my god. It's so perfect. I can't get enough of these guys. If these guys ever die, I'm going to quit the series. I swear to God. Naruto, unimpressed by this, goes, "Yeah, I knew it was you, Konohamaru. Hey, what are those things? Those goggles you're wearing on your heads?" And Shrimps laughs triumphantly and goes, "You used to wear goggles, remember? So we're copying you." And Naruto responds simply, "Oh." And Shrimpy remarks, "Oh, come on, boss. Why are you being like that? You ought to be more excited." And Naruto responds simply, "So, did you want something?" And Shrimpy goes and hugs Udon and whispers about Naruto. He's just trying to be cool. And Moegi steps right up and says, "You know what we want. Are you busy now?" And Naruto thinks for a second and tells him, "I have to train. Believe it." And Konohamaru shrieks, "What? But you promised that you'd play ninja with us today. Come on." And Naruto, rubbing the back of his head, asks, "Oh, did I say that?" And he then thinks to himself, "If I say yes, these kids will keep bugging me all day." It then cuts to Sakura, who's walking about all mopey and from getting slandered by Sasuke, who sighs and says, "A ninja playing ninja? That's so twisted." And she walks up to Naruto and the gang and glares at Naruto, thinking, "My ninja skills are worse than his? Unbelievable." Naruto sees her staring at him, and he freezes up, thinking, she's staring right at me. I think I'm turning red." Which he totally is. He's blushing real hard. And Naruto then lets out a fake, confident laugh to try and cover up his insecurity. And Shrimpy then chimes in, asking, "Hey, boss, who's that girl anyway?" He then turns and looks at Sakura and thinks to himself, the way she's staring at him, it's like her eyes are daggers. The light bulb suddenly clicks on for Shrimpy, and he goes, "You're a smooth operator, boss. Come on, I know that she's your girlfriend." And Naruto blushes and rubs his head and offers, "Well, you can tell she's really crazy about me, huh?" Sakura does not take kindly to this and punches the shit out of Naruto, sending him flying. Shrimpy yells at Sakura, who is cloaked in a green fire chakra field, "What kind of girlfriend are you?" Udon and Moegi run and help up Naruto, while Shrimpy stands his ground and defends Naruto, yelling at Sakura, "You're a witch, and you're ugly too." This infuriates Sakura, and she starts walking towards Shrimpy, cracking her knuckles ominously. Shrimpy panics and lets out a shriek, and the scene transitions to Sakura walking away, and it reveals that Naruto and Shrimpy have both been laid out on the ground, all lumped out, getting their asses beat by Sakura. Udon asks Konohamaru if he's okay, who then stands up and rubs his head and yells, "I don't even think she's human. Did you see how wide her forehead is?" And oh my god, a good forehead joke. I'm here for the forehead jokes every time. Sakura does not love it though, and she hears this joke and turns around and starts walking slowly towards the gang ominously. And there's a moment of brief tension, and Sakura suddenly bolts towards them, and the gang splits up and runs for their lives. And Konohamaru runs straight into two never before seen characters. I love new characters. I can't wait. They're both ninja from another village as they have their headbands on. I don't think that the average viewer is going to know exactly where they're from, but if you have been paying close attention, their headbands are from the village hidden in the sand, which is in the land of wind, which is ran by the Kazekage. And so these are ninja from the hidden sand here in Konoha. So, who knows what's going on at this point. One's a blonde chick and the other one is a dude with a hoodie with a purple face paint on. And I'm going to go ahead and name these guys just so I don't have to be like the blonde chick or the purple face guy. The blonde chick, her name is Tamari. And the guy with the purple face, his name is Konkoro. And so moving forward, I'll be referring to them to accordingly. And so Konkoro asks, "Do you need something?" as he looks down at Shrimpy. And right in this moment, the scene transitions to Kakashi submitting his report, which is being received by Iruka, who thanks Kakashi for submitting his report. He then also asks Kakashi, "How's Naruto doing? Is he getting along okay with the other students?" Kakashi responds to this, "Well, little by little." Iruka then offers, "It's been so busy around here. I haven't seen him since he got back from his mission to the Land of Waves. I'm a little worried about him." And this is sweet. I think this is the first time that anyone has really expressed general concern for Naruto outside of keeping him alive and functional while on missions and shit like that, right? I don't think that there's ever been any other person at any other point in the series who's just been I care about Naruto and I'm generally concerned about his well-being and I'm curious about that right now. So, Iruka Sensei, I told you guys the very first episode that I love me some Iruka Sensei, and moments like this are why. Kakashi responds to the question, Sasuke is also in our group. Naruto sees him as a rival, which puts a constant strain in the group, but it also pushes Naruto to excel. So he's making amazing progress. Someday, his skills may be so strong, they'll match the person he respects the most in the world. You. And this is more dope dialogue here. It's nice to hear Kakashi's honest take on how Naruto is doing in the dynamic in Group 7 while discussing the subject to a peer, right? It's also sweet to know that Iruka is the person that Naruto looks up to the most, which makes sense, right? Iruka believed in him before anyone. Maybe Lord Third also believed in him. I think Lord Third believed in Naruto before Iruka, right? I think that Iruka needed some kicking in the rear by Lord Third, right? But the bottom line is Lord Third ain't ever damn near sacrificed his own life to save him, whereas Iruka did exactly that. Iruka took a giant ninja star in the back from Mizuki for the stated purpose of saving Naruto's life once. So obviously, big time good vibes from Iruka, between Iruka and Naruto. Iruka responds to all of this with just a big smile. He turns real red, blushes real hard, and says, "You don't say," with a chuckle. And obviously this this makes Haruka very happy, right? In quite the same way it's making me happy, it's making Haruka happy. The scene transitions to a hawk flying overhead again. And this is, I believe, the second time we've seen the hawk in this episode. And it takes us over to Squad 8, Kiba, Shino, and Hinata, who are training out with their sensei Kurenai, who we've seen on the screen yet, but they haven't been like, this is Kurenai. So again, I'm naming some characters now because we're to the point where I just don't want to keep track of who's been named and stuff like that. Everyone's going to have a name. I'm going to call them by their name. I'm going to do my best not to reveal anything and spoil anything for down the road, but I'm not going to be like the Jonin leader from Team 8 with the red eyes. Like, no, that's Kurenai. And so all the squadlings in Squad 8 are like doubled over panting when Kurenai notices the hawk flying overhead. It then takes us to another ninja who's smoking a cigarette who sees the hawk as well and thinks, now? And the ninja smoking the cigarette's name is Asuma. So I'll be referring to him as Asuma moving forward as well. I won't be like, the guy smoking the cigarettes. No, it's Asuma. It then takes us back to the two ninja that Shrimpy ran into from the village hidden in the sand. And the one with the hoodie and the purple face paint, Konkuro, has Shrimpy held up in the air by the scarf and is like being real mean and is asking him, so does this hurt, punk? And Tamari demands, put him down, Konkuro, or you know you'll pay for it later. And so this is cool, right? I mean, there's some sense of law and order over there, right? Like Konkuro comes in and just like grabs the grandson of the Lord Third Hokage by the scruff of the neck and is like being a real jerk. And at least there's like someone on the team who's like, hey bud, like being that mean is gonna probably not be great for everybody. Sakura chimes in, hold on, the whole thing was my fault. But in the back of her mind, she's thinking, who are they? What are they? And Naruto comes unglued, demanding, you better take your hands off of him right now. And Konkuro with a smile thinks, so these are the Leaf Village's Genin. He then says aloud, we've got a few minutes before he gets here. Let's mess with these punks, huh? And I wonder who they're referring to at this point, right? I wonder who he is, right? I guess there's some relationship between he who is yet to arrive and the regret that Konkuro will come to feel for having been a jerk to the beginning of the Leaf, right? So whoever's coming is probably the disciplinarian of the group. You could at least, you could maybe guess that much at this point, right? You can't necessarily conclude it, but it's clearly within the cards. Shrimpy then starts kicking Konkuro in the chest and yelling, let go of me, you jerk. And Konkuro remarks, you're feisty, but not for long. Naruto then rushes in and yells, put him down. Konkuro then makes some movements with his fingers and trips Naruto. And as he does this, Naruto looks up and yells, what was that? Konkuro then remarks, you're a Leaf Village Genin too, huh? Looks like your village is full of wimps. And at this point, the beat starts building, right? Sakura is thinking to herself, they're outsiders from somewhere, but what are they doing here? Come on, Sakura. You could have figured they were from the land of wind. Konkuro tightens his grip on Shrimpy and everyone yells for Shrimpy, right? Konohamaru starts sounding more desperate, says for Konkuro to cut it out and that it hurts. Naruto getting really upset at this point goes, that does it. Drop him now or I take you apart. You get that, fool? Sakura sneaks up behind Naruto and puts him in a rear naked choke and yells, you're the fool. Making threats isn't going to help, Naruto. And I take it back. Sakura, you little bastard. How are you going to walk up behind Naruto and put him in a rear naked choke for making threats against the people who are actively assaulting the grandson of the Lord Third Hokage. Like, do you not realize what's happening here, Sakura? Like, these guys got everything coming to them. Like, everything that they're going to get, they deserve. Can't be putting your purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu on Naruto like that. That's some old bullshit. Some old bullshit. Kankuro looks up with a tinge of disgust on his face and says, "You're annoying, all of you. I don't like runts or any other scrawny weaklings. So when a wimp like this starts shooting off his mouth, I just want to break him in half." Tamari chimes in, fine. I'm not involved in any of this, okay? Sakura then thinks, what is this guy's problem? This is getting ugly. Kankuro then remarks, first I'll take care of this little squirt, and then I'll waste the other one. Kankuro loads up a big left hand, and Naruto comes rushing in. And suddenly, Kankuro drops Konohamaru, and it's revealed that Sasuke hit Kankuro's hand with a rock from a distance, causing him to drop Shrimpy, right? Sasuke threw a rock and hit Kankuro's hand with the rock from like up in a tree. Sasuke, from a tree branch, tossing another rock up and down in one hand, remarks, "You're a long way from home, and you're way out of your league." Sakura is elated to have some Sasuke in her life, like big blushes. Naruto's butthurt that Sasuke yet again did the saving and the thunder stealing. Tamari looks up at Sasuke and blushes and thinks, well, local hottie. It's funny, man, like Sasuke just slays everywhere, but you don't ever catch this man simping. Shrimpy stands up and yells for Naruto. Kankuro, holding his wrist that just got popped, says aloud, "Oh great, another wimp to tick me off." Sasuke then catches the rock and crushes it to dust in his hand, and he pours the dust out from his hand and tells him to get lost. Everyone fawns over Sasuke except for Shrimpy and Naruto. Konohamaru quickly turns to Naruto and demands to know, how come you aren't cool like that, huh? Naruto scrambles and tells Shrimpy, what do you mean? I could have taken that guy out in 2 seconds flat. Shrimpy just kind of harumps and looks away, and then this pisses Naruto off royally, who thinks, Sasuke, you're always trying to make me look bad in front of everyone. Kankuro then says to Sasuke, hey punk, get down here. You're the kind of pesky little wimp I hate the most. All attitude and nothing to back it up. Kankuro then pulls a bandage off of somewhere, and Tamari remarks surprisedly aloud, what? Are you going to use the crow for this? And so what's the crow? He then slams the thing from his back that's been wrapped up in bandages on the ground, and things are getting serious, right? So I guess that, like, crow is the thing that's been wrapped up in bandages on Kankuro's back this whole time. When suddenly he's stopped, right? Like he's busting out crow and he's going to do an attack, and he's stopped by Gaara, the disciplinarian of the group, the third leg of this team. Gaara's a little badass, right? He stopped Kankuro super easy, and he tells Kankuro, back off. You're an embarrassment to our village. He's also revealed to be standing upside down on a branch in the same tree as Sasuke, who, this was unbeknownst to Sasuke, which obviously shocks Sasuke when he realizes that there's like a dude in the tree with him. He even thinks to himself, how did he get there? He didn't make a sound. Only Jonin at Kakashi's level are that smooth. It then transitions us to the Hokage's office, where the hawk is sitting outside of the building. And real quick, it's cool to note like how Sasuke measures ninja ability, right? And like one of the ways that he measures ninja ability is the ability to be sneaky and smooth. and Gaara is at a Jonin's level of sneakiness and smoothness per the measure of Sasuke. And so back to the scene in the Hokage's office. He's in the room and he's like surrounded by a bunch of the higher level Jonin ninja trainers and stuff. And he says, "I've summoned you all here for a very important purpose. Seeing your fellow Jonin here, I'm sure you've realized what this is about." Kakashi thinks to himself, "So soon? I thought we'd have more time." Asuma says aloud, "I take it all the other lands have been notified about the upcoming event. I know some of their genin have already arrived in the village." And so, yeah, there's definitely some genin from the village hidden in the sand already there, and Asuma's aware of that. Kurenai asks, "And when do we start?" And Lord Third responds, "We will begin in 1 week." Kakashi says aloud, "That's pretty short notice." And Lord Third takes a big old rip from his pipe and offers, "Take heed. Exactly 7 days from today, on the 1st day of July, the genin will be gathered and tested, and only the very best will be selected as chunin." And the episode ends, right? It capped off with the Hokage telling everybody that we're going to be doing the chunin exams, and that was what the Hawks were there for. The Hawks were there carrying messages to and from lands. That's why Kankuro, Tamari, and Gaara are in the village. They're showing up for the chunin exams. They're just there, getting settled in a week early type shit. And so, yeah, the chunin exams are coming up. We're going to see who moves up from genin to chunin. You'll recall that the scale of ninja hierarchy goes from bottom to top. Genin, chunin, Jonin, and Hokage, right? And genin are like the Narutos and Sasuke of the world. Chunin are like the Iruka senseis of the world. The Jonin are like the Kakashis of the world, and the Hokages. I mean, there's only 5 Hokages, only 1 Hokage in every village. I'm certain there might be a few other ninja that are like at that level, right? But only one can ultimately serve as the figurehead. But the baddest of the bad. There's also the Anbu. Some would argue that the Anbu are like a higher rank than the Jonin, but truthfully, every member of the Anbu is a Jonin, and every Anbu is a Jonin, right? So like it's a circle within a circle. But either way, we're kind of digressing. We got Squad 7 was pulling weeds. It's just really hard for them guys to come back to like doing D-ranked missions after they went and got thrown into the deep end of a B-ranked mission where they had to fight Zabuza and Haku, like going from fighting one of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist and his right-hand man to pulling weeds. It's just a hard transition, right? I love how that everybody is still like purely themselves, right? Naruto and Sasuke are steady beefing with their rivalry. Sasuke is still saving Naruto left and right. Sakura is still head over heels for Sasuke. Kakashi is still too cool to measure, always late, lost on the path of life. I love Konohamaru's little gang with Udon and Moegi. The Konohamaru Ninja Squad is just beautiful. I love every single one of those characters, and they do nothing but endear. We got to meet Tamari, Kankuro, and Gaara. Tamari seems like kind of neutral on stuff. Kankuro seems kind of like a dick who's going to do his own thing, and Gaara seems kind of like a dick who's going to hold everybody to the rules. We don't really know much about any of these guys yet. I'm certain that we'll get to know more, right? But that's basically all we know, right? They're genin from the village hidden in the sand, from the land of wind, and we're going to see what's up. Presumably they're here for the chunin exam, so we're going to see them get examined over the course of this arc as well. So we're going to see how it all goes. And with that, I can pretty much put a bow on this episode. If I miss anything, roast me in the comments. On that note, please participate in the comments, like, share, comment, all that stuff. The point is to be friendly, right? Let's all be friends. And I'm looking forward to covering Season 1, Episode 21 with you guys. Keep an eye out. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Joshua. I'm your Konoha companion. And I'm looking forward to the next one. Thank you guys so much for listening.